everybody that's watching. My name is Juliana, and this is my first time doing this, as you know. So I just want to start by saying I asked for this message from God to specifically be for every person that might hear or see this message. So whoever's out there, everybody in the room, you're going to get something today. That's all I can promise. Don't mind if I'm looking down, because I wrote some of this a little while ago, so I might not remember it. I just want to start with a little intro. Can everybody go to John 15:5? Let me know when you're there. Okay, can I start? Okay. John 15:5. I am the vine, and you are the branches. Whoever abides in me, and I in him, he that bears much fruit, for apart from me, you can do nothing. So, today, I don't want any of the glory for any of this, because I'm not doing it alone. It's God that's helping me, so don't come up to me later and be like, oh, you did such a great job. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Praise God for this. Okay. So then we're going to start with the first section. It is called The Delusions of the Devil. The Delusions. So you'll see why that's important in a second. So many of you know his goal, his whole purpose is to steal you away from Jesus. You want to know why? Go to Revelation 7 through 12. Revelation 12, 7 through 12. This is why you're getting fought so much. Just letting you know. Let me know when y'all are ready. Revelation 12, 7 through 12. Now a war arose in heaven, Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon. And the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was defeated, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. And the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. And I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, now the salvation and the power and the kingdom of God and the authority of his Christ have come. For the accuser of our brothers has been thrown down, who accuses them day and night before our God. And they have conquered him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. For they love not their lives even unto death. Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil has come down to you in great wrath, because he knows that his time is short. He's mad because he had a place in heaven, but he was so prideful that he wanted to be above God, and God was like, what are you doing? So he's here accusing us day and night, as much as he can, because his time is short. His time is short. Now, let's go to Ezekiel 28, 12 through 17. Ezekiel 28, 12 through 17. It says, you were the signet of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering. Sardius, topaz, and diamond, beryl, onyx, and jasper, sapphire, emerald, and carbuncle. And crafted in gold you were yours. Oh my gosh, hold on. Crafted in gold were your settings and your engravings. On the day that you were created, they were prepared. You were anointed guardian cherub. I placed you. You were on the holy mountain of God. In the midst of the stones of fire you walked. You were blameless in your ways from the days you were created, till unrighteousness was found in you. In abundance of your trade, you were filled with violence in your midst, and you sinned. So I cast you as a profane thing from the mountain of God, and I destroyed you, O guardian cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Your heart was proud because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. I cast you to the ground. I exposed you before kings to feast their eyes on you. He was perfect. He was God's most cherished angel. He was the highest of high. He had everything. And you know what he did? He foolishly, for his splendor, for his selfishness, he gave it all away because he wanted to be higher than God. And now he hates us because we get a second chance. We are made in his image, and he hates God, so he hates us. Do you know how crazy that is? That he had everything. He had everything, and he gave it all away. And now he's after us, trying to get us to go with him because he's mad. Sounds like a bunch of foolishness to me. Okay, let's go to, I'm going to apologize in advance. We're going to do a lot of flipping today. I have a lot of verses. But let's go to Matthew 2:13 through 18. Matthew 2:13 through 18. So here we begin to talk about Jesus' birth and his beginning years of his life before we skip to his ministry. And Matthew 2:13 through 18 reads, Now when they had departed, which is Jesus' family, Mary and Joseph, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, Rise, take the child and his mother, and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is about to search for the child to destroy him. And he rose and took the child and his mother by night and departed to Egypt, and remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet, Out of Egypt I called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, became furious, and he sent and killed all the male children in Bethlehem and all that region who were 2 years old or under, according to the time that he had ascertained from the wise men. Then was fulfilled what was spoken by the prophet Jeremiah. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping and loud lamentation. Rachel wept for her children. She refused to be comforted because they are no more. So what's going on here is Satan, obviously, seeing that Jesus is born and can assume what is going to happen, he immediately wants to take Jesus out. Immediately. Like, it's so crazy when you think about it. But obviously God, he created him, so he knows what the devil is going to do. He's already 10 billion steps ahead of him. He said, no, you're not going to get in the way of my will to save the world, because that's the whole point that Satan's trying to do. He's trying to get God to not be able to save us by killing Jesus. Stupid. In telling Joseph and Mary to flee to Egypt, that's a big thing. They were in Bethlehem. They had to travel all the way to Egypt. Do you know how much faith that had to take to go to Egypt without knowing what was going to happen, they had to just be obedient and listen to God because he knew he was going to protect them. Much as we need to just be obedient when God is telling us something because we don't know what's going to happen, but he does. And if they hadn't listened, Jesus would have died. You don't even know what could happen if you don't listen to God. You could lose your life. But his plan is to protect us. You just have to listen to him. That's the main point. Here, we look at something really quick, a little detail about how Satan used Herod to kill all the children. A supposed godly man he was supposed to be. I don't know about all that. If we look back in the Old Testament, Satan does the same thing with a Pharaoh, where he gets the Pharaoh to kill all the Israelite children because he was greedy with power and didn't want to be overruled by the Israelites. It's the same play, but just later. If you look really close, he does the same thing over and over because he can do nothing else. He has no new play. He just uses corrupt people that want power to get his way so he can feel powerful, even though he's condemned to eternal death. So, let's go to Matthew 23. This is another section called the 7 woes. Everyone there? Okay. Just open to 23. We're going to go through the whole chapter. This section is one of the first that it will be directly like making you check yourself. So just letting you guys know that. Yeah. And if you feel like, is this about me? Well, if the message feels like it's about you, it's about you. Sorry, y'all. Yep, Matthew 23. So, Jesus starts talking about the Pharisees. For those who don't know who they are, they're a specific sect of Jews from Jesus' time, and his main problem with the Pharisees is that they hold to a doctrine that is very strict, that break people down instead of forming them into the person that they should be. And this is what we call legalism. And what that is if you don't follow the Old Testament laws to an exact, plus the laws that they made up themselves out of nowhere, you are liable to death, you're liable to hell, all that. That's why he had a problem with it. You're condemning people to hell, but God doesn't do that himself. Because if you look in Luke 20, verse 38, give me a second, I'm flipping. You don't have to open to it, I'm just getting there. It says, "Now he is not the God of the dead, but all the living, for all live to him." All live to him. So that's why it's wrong. He alone has all the knowledge, and he could have destroyed humanity from the very beginning because we sin. But he didn't because he loves us and he gives us grace. They were not giving grace at all. That's just the bottom line. They were just condemning people and then leading people away from the faith. So that's a big issue. And that's not of his nature, condemning people. He made those laws not to break someone down, but to shape us into the people that are his, so we are set apart. It's a guiding law, not that we should be constantly thinking about how we're not enough or how we're unworthy, because he is enough and he just wants you to put your full effort into relying on him and worshiping him. So that was silly. Back to Matthew 23. Now we're going to stay there for a little while. I promise. So I'm just going to give a timeline for those who don't know also. Jesus is saying this to the Pharisees and the Sadducees and all those chief priests right before they plan on trying to kill him. So he strategically put it as the last thing that he told them, which I think is I love when he plans things and it all goes well. He starts exposing their hypocrisy of these so-called godly people. So I'm going to read the first paragraph-ish. Then Jesus said to the crowds and to his disciples, "The scribes and the Pharisees sit on Moses' seat. So do and observe whatever they tell you, but not the works that they do, for they preach but do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens, hard to bear, and lay them on people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to move them with their finger. They do all their deeds to be seen by others, for they make their phylacteries and broad, and their fringes long. And they love the place of honor at feasts, and the best seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the marketplaces, and being called rabbi by others. But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher, and you are all brothers. And call no man father on earth, for you have one Father who is in heaven." Now he's talking about the people that have titles, and they think because they're called this title that you should listen to every single word they say. You should not question them. "The greatest among you shall be your servant. Who exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted." So he mentions how they take a place above everyone and how they instruct people how to act. But the important part is how they act. They themselves are not godly, and they do not help people that are struggling. They instead make it worse by adding to it, which is they only do the good deeds to be seen and to be glorified for it, which is not the nature of God. That is very selfish. So you need to look out for the type of people that are teaching you in that kind of way, because they're false. And he does not call us to be like that, and the people that teach like that, their followers end up becoming like that because they're misleading them. We should instead be constantly providing for others as he provides for us, because he even provides for us a people that constantly fail him and forsake him and disgrace him. So we in ourselves should be like, God is providing for me and I don't deserve it, so I'm going to follow his ways and I'm going to provide for others and not be selfish in that way that we only seek to be glorified from people. Which also goes along with, we're called to help people in the middle of their struggle and their mess, even if it's not our problem. If we know someone and they're struggling, you could even just talk to them. Let them talk about what's going on. You don't even have to have the solution. It's just called caring. It's called, even though you're not obliged to, you don't have to, you should. You should care that much about others that you want to at least put a little bit of yourself and say, what's going on? So that's another factor that you should think about. Also, going back to the titles thing, this is wrong because God alone is great, and if a person of power is teaching you and it always seems like you're giving them the glory, or they teach more about themselves or what's going on with them than God, you should look out because that's not a true teacher. They are probably one of them. My favorite phrase is, they went but weren't sent. You have to look out for that. And Jesus says that the greatest is the humble, the person who serves all. That, him saying that, he's God. He came that way. He didn't come on a high stool saying, I'm mighty. And that's saying something because he could have done that. But that's not his nature. So why are you being like that? Why are you exalting yourself so much and saying, I'm great, I'm this, I'm that? You will be made great if you serve others. And I mean everybody. The people that you like, the people that you don't like, the people that you don't even want to walk near. That's what he's calling you to do. Whether you like it or not, he's calling you to serve everyone. You think that if he didn't mean that, why would he go to the sinners? Why would he talk to them? Because he loves all of his people. Whoever you are, he's calling you and he loves you. And it doesn't matter who you were. It doesn't matter who you've been. Jesus loves all of his children. So remember that. I'm going to read like the second part. It says, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut the kingdom of heaven in people's face. For you neither enter yourselves, nor allow those who would enter to go in. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you travel across sea and land to make a single proselyte. And when he becomes a proselyte, you make him twice as much a child of hell as yourselves." So this is the first woe of the 7 woes that he tells the Pharisees. To shut the kingdom of heaven in someone's face is to shame them for their actions and to twist scripture to condemn them and force them to adopt the doctrine that you are holding. Crazy. He says that they don't let them enter into the kingdom of heaven. What does he mean by that? He means that these are the people that, again, are forcing you into religion, but they're corrupted and they're not even teaching you the right doctrine. So by forcing this, you're not even getting anywhere. You have to use discernment to know who's teaching you, because they could be leading you literally nowhere, and you're all worked up about, oh, I need to change this and that about myself, but you don't. You need to go the correct way, and when you meet him, he calls you as you are, and you'll change over time. So you need to be aware of those kinds of people. If anyone's wondering what a proselyte is, it means a person who is converted from one opinion, religion, or party to another. So, and by doing this, those people continue the cycle of corruption in the religion that they have, which isn't the right way, but they're just continuing how they're living, which is not good. Then I'm going to read the next part. "Woe to you, blind guides, who say, if anyone swears by the temple, it is nothing. But if anyone swears by the gold of the temple, he's bound by his oath. You blind fools, for who is greater, the gold or the temple that has made the gold sacred? And you say, if anyone swears by the altar, it is nothing. But if anyone swears by the gift that is on the altar, he is bound by oath. You blind men, for which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? So whoever swears by the altar swears by it and everything on it. And whoever swears by the temple swears by it and by him who dwells in it. And whoever swears by heaven swears by the throne of God and by him who sits upon it. I hope you guys are recognizing what's wrong here. Swearing by God, like where people will be like, I swear to God. You shouldn't be doing that because you don't know what you're doing. We live in his creation and he is everywhere in his creation. So even swearing by someone's life or swearing by anything, don't do that because you have no power in yourself to be swearing. You can't make any trees. You can't make the sky. You can't make the clouds. What are you doing? You should not be doing that. Please stop. Also, this is a disgrace to God because it's his work and he's made everything. So I hope you know what you're doing. When you speak, you need to be more aware because every word matters and you're supposed to be selective in what you say and not just throw words out of your mouth. I'm gonna read the next part. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you tithe mint and dill and cumin and have neglected the weightier matters of the law. Justice and mercy and faithfulness. These you ought to have done without neglecting the others. You blind guides, straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel. Here he's talking about how they don't focus on more important things of the faith, just the parts that are easy and give themselves glory. This is a checking part. What are you doing? Stop getting caught up in the things that are not important and ask God to help you to focus on what he needs you to do instead of what you want to do. You can't profess your faith if you're not even living your faith correctly and you're worrying about this and that and the other. The next part. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you clean the outside of the cup and the plate, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisee, for you clean the inside of the cup and the plate, but the outside may be clean. Here he's talking about your heart. What is your heart full of? Is it righteous or unrighteous? You can't just outwardly appear to people that you're a Christian, but you're not living the way you're supposed to be. You're just masking and showing that who you say is false. You're not all that you say you are. So check your heart and make sure that is not you, because Jesus is calling out those people. You don't want to be that person. No, don't be that guy. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like the whitewashed tombs, which outwardly appear beautiful, but within are full of dead people's bones and all uncleanness. So you also outwardly appear righteous to others, but within you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. This is again saying the same thing, that you can't just do whatever you want and slap a label on it and say I'm a Christian. I feel like that's the only religion that people do that, where they're so fake and they're just like, I'm a Christian, but I don't follow what I'm supposed to. Oh yeah, I don't do that. I don't agree with that. It's not what I'm comfortable with. It doesn't matter what you're comfortable with. Did you make the land? Did you make the sky? Did you make the ocean? No! You were made, so you're supposed to do what he calls you to do because he had enough grace to keep you after you sin and sin and sin and sin. So isn't it you will never okay, let me rephrase this. In no way can you do anything that will be as, oh my gosh, hold on. The words are like flying away from me here. Okay. We're just gonna move on because I don't know what I'm even trying to say, but let's continue. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you build the tombs of the prophets and declare the monuments of the righteous, saying, if we had lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have taken part with them in the shedding of the blood of the prophets. Thus you witness against yourselves that you are sons of those who murdered the prophets. Fill up then the measure of your fathers, you serpents, you brood of vipers. How are you to escape being sentenced to hell? Therefore I send you prophets and wise men and scribes, some of whom you will kill and crucify, and some you will flog in your synagogues and persecute from town to town. Obviously, he's talking about all the Old Testament prophets, but also himself here. And I don't understand how they didn't get it at this point. They're just like, so that you may come on all the righteous blood that shed on the earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the sanctuary and the altar. Truly I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. If you wouldn't do the evil that was before you, then why are you relating yourself to those people, is what he's saying. Why are you calling them your fathers that come before you if you wouldn't do that? But you would. God has sent many people to save us from sin and to save us from going to hell. He sent Jesus to save us from sin. Sorry, guys. And yet you do not listen because you can't handle being wrong or having to change. There's no more that he can do for you if you're not listening to him. After time after time after time that he's been warning us, been telling us what we're doing, and telling us how to fix it, and to just come to him with it. But if you're not listening and being ignorant because it's uncomfortable to you, there's nothing else he can do for you. He already gave you all of the options, all of the chances. It's up to you now to go to him. Because if you didn't listen the first time or the second time or the third time, how is he going to tell you again? There's no other way he can tell you. What are you doing? One more thing about what he calls these people. He calls them hypocrites and blind guides. That's because they are lost people leading the lost. And how can they teach the truth when they're not even in line with God? And hypocrites because they are fake and appear to be righteous. You must use your discernment that you would not be led astray by these people who aren't even real preachers. And you have to look in your heart that you're not, if you were following those kinds of people, and you have to look in yourself and say, am I doing this? Is this going to lead me away? Am I living like this? Because after receiving all of that false doctrine, that is going to affect you. So you have to check yourself. When you know the truth, you're held accountable for it. So you have to make sure that it's not going to be you that's going to be left behind in the end. You have to do that. Because if you don't, I'm sorry, there's nothing else you can do. You've been warned. The next section is seek truth and you'll find. It can be very confusing in this life because there's so much going on and you might not know what to do, but just keep seeking the truth and it will be revealed to you. So let's go to Matthew 7 through 11. Matthew 7 through 11. Let me know when we're ready. Okay. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks it will be opened. Or which one of you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a serpent? If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who's in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? So I believe that this passage is meant for two different types of people. The most obvious is the believer. Whatever you need, God will give it to you. All you must do is be persistent. You must spend time with him and build your relationship with him because he cares about you and he knows every detail about you and he wants to give you what you need. But he can only do this as easy as he can if you're fulfilling your job. You have to be faithful. You can't just ask him for something and you didn't even talk to him in the past, month? And you expect him to give you something? Where do you think all you get your feelings from? He gave you your feelings because he has feelings too. You can't just ask for something out of nowhere, but you don't talk to him every day. You don't even read your word. That thing is dusty. What are you doing? You can't. If you go up to your mom that you haven't talked to in, 5 years and ask her, can you buy me a car? Do you think she's gonna buy you that car? No, you probably have a broken relationship with her. It's the same thing with God. We know how to have relationships because of him. It's the most obvious thing. You cannot ask someone that you don't even know to provide for you. And in trying to fix that, you just have to work on it slowly. It may not seem like you're getting anywhere at first if you don't have a relationship with him, but just keep working on it. And through you being persistent and being persevering, you will build a stronger relationship with him, and you'll be able to easier ask him for things and ask him for advice and talk to him whenever. So that was the first part. Okay, where is it? Now the other audience is for the people that are confused and you don't know why your life is going completely downhill and you don't know why no one's there for you, and you might want to choose a path in your life. You might want to choose a religion. You might not. Whoever you are, this part is for you. You might be butthurt about people of the church. Say that's you. Are you butthurt? If you're butthurt, listen up. Sorry, they're making me laugh. Okay. I gotta find it. Okay. So, back about the people of the church that hurt you. I can guarantee you 110% that those people were probably heavy on condemning you, or they just didn't give you anything you needed. So you should not use them as a good example or representation of God. And I'm going to give you another example that will explain this. If a piano player is playing Mozart and it sounds worse than you've ever heard, you might not even know what Mozart sounds like, and I'll get more on that later. If someone's playing the piano and it just doesn't sound right and you know what it's supposed to sound like, you're not going to use them and say, oh, Mozart is so bad. That it doesn't work like that. So those people that were misleading you, why are you blaming God for that? That's them. Their choices, their misleading you is not his fault. They're not fulfilling up to what they're supposed to be. They're not even supposed to be there. They're not supposed to be teaching you. Why are you following them? It's not his fault. So remember that. And for the people that don't know what Mozart sounds like, you may be confused. You may be like, dang, I didn't know Mozart sounded like that. But that's when you have to look, and you have to go home and be like, something's off here. I'm gonna listen to some videos. And you find out that it wasn't Mozart is bad at playing piano. It's that person was a bad representation. Just as if you don't know, if you're going to a church for the first time, because, I don't know, you just wanted to see what was going on, you were curious, and they're giving you a bunch of doo-doo, then you are going to be hurt about it. You're going to be like, I didn't know that God was like that. I didn't know that he was condemning people to hell. I didn't know that I'm like this awful person. But you're not seeing the truth. So that's when you have to look behind whatever they're showing you. You have to go find the truth. You can't just rely on what people say. You can't rely on what I'm saying even. You need to go look for the truth. And I can guarantee you, you will always find the truth. Because if there are multiple truths, they contradict each other. So that means there is only one truth. And you can go to wherever you want. You can go to even other religions, but you'll always find that there's always one truth. Because if there wasn't one truth, how would anything work? And just a little fun facts here. If some people in this room didn't know, fun fact about the Bible. There are 63,779 cross-references in the Bible, over 40 authors over a span of about 1,500 years, over 3 different languages, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, and over the span of 3 different continents, Africa, Asia, and Europe. I don't think you're ever going to find any other book like that, because that's not humanly possible. Not humanly possible. So that in itself, and that it's perfectly preserved. You can go to whatever museums that have the old documents, they're still there. You can go and look. I don't know about all the other so-called holy books, but I know my book that has 63,779 cross-references over 1,500 years. I know that I can rely on this because that is the humanly impossible book. People were talking about things that happened in the New Testament over hundreds of years before it even happened. That in itself should astonish you, and if it doesn't, I don't know what you're doing. You're just being complacent with your life, honestly. Let's see. Okay, and for the people that you may think that I'm wrong, but let's just say you don't believe anything that I'm saying, and I'm just talking nonsense. If you're wrong and you're living the way you live constantly and you die, but what if I'm right and you're wrong? What happens to you? But if I'm wrong, what happens to me? Nothing. So who's more at risk here? Not me. So I encourage you to go to find the truth so you're not the one at risk. Because at least if you know you're right, you can stand on that. But I know that if I die and I'm wrong, nothing happens to me. So. But I know I'm not wrong, so. Okay, finishing up. I would like to remind everybody what time we're in. Someone was stealing my thunder earlier while we were waiting. But I'm just going to re-go over what she said, because y'all didn't hear it. We're in the last days, and this is the final hour. Right now is the time to get right before everything happens. And I'm not going to go too in depth. But whenever you go home, or whenever this is over, read over Matthew 24 about the end of the age. Because he tells you the signs, and I know a lot of people get confused about Revelation, so you might want to consult someone about that, because I know if I just look at that book and I don't read in context, or I don't ask somebody, I don't know what's going on about these things that are going to happen. But luckily, I have people that I can trust in, that I can ask what's going to happen. So, whether you like it or not, he's coming back, so it's up to you. That's all I'm going to say about that. You have to make your choices and know that what you do matters, especially now. Just remember that part. And I want to remind everybody in Matthew 28 that it says to make disciples of all nations and to teach them how to follow Jesus' message. So if anybody that calls himself a Christian, if you're not doing that, you're not doing what he sent you out to do. Remember to do that. It should be on the forefront of your mind. And finally, reminder that he is always with you. He will always protect you. He loves you. You just need to go to him. That's it.